If you're watching this video right now, it's no coincidence. Nothing in this universe happens by chance. The simple fact that this message has crossed your path is a clear sign that you're much closer to a major breakthrough than you realize. You're one step away from breaking through the final barrier, one step away from achieving everything you've quietly dreamed of for years. There's something inside you that knows this, even if you can't yet explain it rationally. It's that gut feeling that says the time is coming, and it truly is. But before you cross that threshold, you need to face something no one wants to see: the true adversary hiding behind your doubts, your fears, and your excuses. This adversary is subtle, intelligent, disguised, and shows up precisely when you're about to win. It's like a shadow that moves silently, trying to convince you to give up, to stop, to settle for a life smaller than the one you were born to live. Today, I'm going to show you who this adversary is and how a simple shift in perception can break this cycle and allow abundance to flow naturally, almost magically, into your life. I say this with authority because I've been exactly where you are now. I too felt blocked, trapped in endless cycles, studying the law of attraction, practicing affirmations, visualizing, taking action every day. And still, something seemed to pull me back. I saw the signs, I saw the opportunities, but when it came time to take the leap, something inside me froze, and it was at that point that I discovered what was really happening. I uncovered the enemy we all carry, the true inner saboteur. This enemy is invisible but powerful. It manifests in the form of subtle thoughts, the kind that seem harmless but slowly erode your confidence. You know those moments when you're full of enthusiasm, brimming with plans, and suddenly an intrusive thought creeps in. What if it doesn't work out? What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm just kidding myself? Sometimes it's not even a full thought. It's a feeling, an emotional shadow that comes out of nowhere, throwing you off balance. You've experienced this, haven't you? Your heart racing with excitement, and, at the same time, that sinking feeling of doubt. That's exactly when the adversary strikes. It tries to convince you that it's better not to take the risk, that maybe you should wait a little longer, that perhaps now isn't the right time. And so, time passes, your dreams drift further away. And you start to believe that maybe it wasn't meant to be, but it was. It always was. The image that always comes to my mind is the parable of the man who dug a mine for years, sweating, believing, and gave up when he was just 1 centimeter away from the diamonds. He didn't know how close he was. And that's exactly what happens to so many people. They give up just when they're about to win, because the inner adversary launches its final attack, its last effort to keep you trapped in your comfort zone. So, who is this adversary? To understand this, we need to go back to the origin of a word that carries a lot of symbolism: devil. Regardless of your religious beliefs, you've heard that the devil is the one who tries to lead people astray. But what most people don't know is that the word devil comes from the Greek asterisk diabolos, which means the one who divides. The root term asterisk dia is tied to the idea of duality, two sides, two forces, two poles. What was one becomes two. This reveals a great secret. The true adversary isn't an external entity trying to harm you, but the internal fragmentation that lives within all of us. We are at once light and shadow, conscious and unconscious, courage and fear. When these parts come into conflict, the saboteur is born. And it's this internal conflict that we need to understand to become whole, or, as the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung put it, to become individuated, complete, unified. Jung called this process individuation, the journey back to wholeness. He believed that every human being is born fragmented and spends their life trying to reunite their parts, integrating the conscious and the unconscious, reason and emotion, the good and the bad within themselves. Therefore, fighting the devil is symbolically confronting the internal division. It's looking at the shadow, acknowledging it, and saying, "You're part of me, but you don't control me." And here's the point that changes everything. The inner adversary shouldn't be destroyed, but understood. The shadow is the guardian of our hidden potential. Within it lie our unexplored strengths, suppressed emotions, and talents we've left dormant out of fear of not being accepted. When we run from it, we lose access to an essential part of our power. When we acknowledge it, we become whole. Now notice the paradox. The same fear that paralyzes you is also the gateway to your transformation. What you call a block is in fact your shadow asking for integration. That's why every time you're about to achieve something big, doubts, insecurities, and crises arise. The unconscious reacts because it fears the unknown. It prefers familiar pain to uncertain joy. But there's a way to neutralize this mechanism and let your heart, not your mind, take control. And this isn't poetry. It's science. The HeartMath Institute, an American institution that studies the connection between emotions and human physiology, discovered that the heart emits an electromagnetic field about 60 times stronger than the brain's. In other words, what you feel has a much greater impact on the reality around you than what you merely think. That's why someone can repeat 1,000 positive affirmations and still remain stuck, because deep down, the feeling hasn't changed. If you say, "I am prosperous," but feel fear of scarcity, the universe responds to the feeling, not the words. Emotional vibration is the language the quantum field understands. The mind thinks, but the heart emits. And when the heart vibrates in harmony with what you desire, reality begins to align in an almost unbelievable way. That's why people who constantly complain attract situations that give them more to complain about, while those who radiate gratitude and confidence, even on tough days, find solutions and open doors where others see none. The difference isn't in the effort or the luck, it's in the emotional frequency. Now imagine you're on the verge of breaking the cycle of scarcity, almost crossing the portal into a new phase. That's when the inner adversary panics. It knows it's losing control. So it starts firing off old feelings, fear, guilt, shame. It tries to convince you that change is dangerous, that you'll lose people, that success will bring problems. And if you're not paying attention, you end up believing it. But there's a secret few know. A single feeling is more powerful than 5,000 thoughts combined. You don't need to fight every negative thought that arises. That would be impossible. Instead, simply change your emotional state, and all the thoughts begin to reorganize naturally. You don't cancel the shadow, you illuminate it. And how do you change the feeling? With small, consistent actions. Surround yourself with places that lift your energy. Be around people who inspire you. Listen to music that awakens the most beautiful parts of you. Allow yourself to laugh, play, connect with children, animals, or nature. Each of these experiences alters the frequency of your electromagnetic field. Well-being is the alchemy of the heart, A single genuine feeling of gratitude can neutralize thousands of accumulated negative thoughts. When you learn to generate elevated feelings, even without an apparent reason, you become the conscious creator of your reality. Close your eyes now and feel. There's a part of you that knows you were born to thrive. That part has never doubted you. It's the opposite of the inner adversary. It's your essence, your divine spark, your life force. When you listen to it, everything changes. When a person lives in a negative emotional state for too long, they create an internal magnetic field charged with that vibration. Every thought of fear, every sensation of doubt, every memory of failure builds up like an invisible layer, shaping their reality. It's as if the person is inside an energetic bubble that attracts experiences similar to what they feel. That's why, to change your life, it's not enough to change your words, you need to change your frequency. And changing your frequency doesn't mean ignoring pain or faking happiness. It means transforming how you relate to what you feel. It means stopping the fight against emotions and starting to understand them as messengers of your own unconscious. The shadow doesn't want to destroy you. It wants to be heard. It carries parts of you that were rejected, forgotten, suppressed. Every fear is a voice asking for acceptance. When you say, "I'm afraid to grow," what you're unconsciously saying is, "I'm afraid I won't be able to handle it." When you feel guilt for prospering, what you're saying is, "I believe I don't deserve more than others." These are deeply rooted emotional beliefs that don't dissolve with just pretty words. They need to be reprogrammed through feeling, and the heart is the starting point of that reprogramming. Scientific research confirms that the heart is the first organ to form in the embryo, and that it has its own neurons. This means the heart thinks, perceives, and communicates with the brain. When you're in internal harmony, your heart rate becomes coherent, and that coherence spreads throughout your entire body, even affecting mental patterns. That's why, when you feel gratitude, love, or compassion, your whole body relaxes, and your thoughts become clearer. The opposite is also true. When you feel anger, fear, or anxiety, your heart loses its rhythm. Your body goes into alert mode, and your mind becomes chaotic. This connection between emotion and physiology is the key to understanding the power of feeling. Your heart is literally an antenna, emitting vibrations that interact with everything around you. And when you start to care for what you feel, reality begins to respond differently. Successful people understand this intuitively. They know that the greatest investment they can make is in the quality of their own feelings. It's no coincidence that positive, confident, and grateful people find more opportunities. They don't attract luck. They create vibrational coherence. But there's an important detail. The closer you are to a major breakthrough, the more your shadow will try to pull you back. This happens because the unconscious is programmed to protect. It associates change with threat. So, when you start to shift old patterns, the unconscious triggers the most primal feelings it has: fear, guilt, shame, to try to keep you safe. The paradox is that these emotions don't come to hinder you, but to test you. They appear to give you the chance to choose differently. This is when most people give up, believing that difficulties are a sign the path is wrong, when in fact, they're a sign that it's about to work out. Remember, it's always darkest just before dawn. When your heart vibrates with fear, you attract situations that confirm that fear. When it vibrates with confidence, the universe rearranges circumstances. So the real work isn't fighting fear, but feeling something stronger than it. It's putting love, faith, and certainty at the center of your chest and letting that vibration take charge. You've probably noticed how a genuine feeling can change your entire day. Sometimes a hug, a song, or a simple act of kindness makes everything fall into place. That's not a coincidence, it's cardiac coherence. The heart's electromagnetic field, when it enters a state of harmony, begins to synchronize your body, mind, and even external circumstances. That's why successful people do everything to protect their feelings. They carefully choose the environments they frequent, the conversations they nurture, and the people they connect with. They know that a negative word, a malicious criticism, or a toxic environment can misalign their entire vibrational field. And when the field is misaligned, opportunities close off. So, if you want to win, you need to emotionally shield yourself. You'll need to care for your heart's energy, like someone guarding a treasure. This isn't selfishness, it's spiritual self-preservation. Think about it. Every feeling is a command sent to your subconscious. If you repeat fear, the subconscious understands danger and activates defense mode. If you repeat gratitude, it understands safety and expands possibilities. It's a silent but powerful language, and that language shapes your destiny. When the feeling rises, the mind lights up. When the feeling sinks, the mind becomes a hostage to the shadow. That's why the battle isn't external, it's within. And the hidden adversary, the one trying to keep you from abundance, isn't others, the government, or the market. It's your own emotional vibration. And here's the great secret. Feeling is the key to the portal. You can read all the self-help books, watch 1,000 lectures, take every prosperity course, but if you don't change what you feel, nothing truly changes. The universe doesn't respond to what you say you want, but to what you feel you are. It's like a radio station. If you want to hear the music of abundance, you need to tune in to the right frequency. And the frequency is the feeling. The good news is that changing your frequency is simpler than it seems. It starts with the decision to stop reacting automatically. When fear comes, observe it, breathe. Place your hand on your heart and say, "I acknowledge you, but I choose to feel something else." That phrase has immense power because it interrupts the pattern and reprograms the subconscious. Every time you choose to feel love instead of fear, you weaken the adversary. Every time you choose gratitude over complaints, you expand your field. Every time you trust the process, even without seeing the result, you send a clear message to the universe. "I'm ready." And the universe responds. So pay attention to the signs. When you start to feel at peace, even without an apparent reason, it's a sign that your field is shifting. Opportunities will start to appear. The right people will cross your path, and everything that once seemed blocked will begin to move. But for this to happen, you need to protect your emotional field with the same discipline an athlete uses to care for their body. Avoid conversations that drain your energy. Step away from environments that weigh you down. Tend to your mind like a gardener tends to a garden. Pull out the weeds of pessimism and water it daily with positive feelings. And most importantly, don't give up when the shadow comes on strong. It comes to test whether you're truly ready to cross the portal. It's the final guardian of the path. And when you face it with love, it dissolves. So the next time a negative thought arises, don't fight it. Just change the feeling. Breathe deeply, feel the air moving in and out, and say to yourself, "I am safe. The universe is on my side. I choose to feel peace." Repeat this until your heart believes it. Because when your heart believes, nothing can stop the flow of abundance. Remember, you're one step away from winning. One step away from breaking the barrier that separates what you desire from what you manifest. The hidden adversary isn't an enemy to be defeated. It's a part of you that needs to be loved. And when you learn to love even your own shadow, nothing can stop you. That's why, if this message reached you, know that that's not a chance. It's the universe telling you, now is the time. You've walked in the dark long enough. You're ready to turn on the light. And if every word I've said resonated within you, if something in your heart vibrated with this truth, I've prepared something special. An experience that will help you reprogram your feelings and align your heart with the frequency of prosperity. This experience is called Asterisk, the Psychology of Money. Why haven't you taken off yet? Asterisk's free journey, where I'll show you, step by step, how to use your heart's electromagnetic field to transform your relationship with money. Dissolve emotional blocks and make space for the natural abundance already within you. But be warned, this experience won't be available for long. If you feel that now is the time to break your patterns, click the link in the description and sign up now. Because when the heart decides, the universe obeys.